everyone, it's the me again, Penguin21, and today we're going to be just doing a bunch of things on Reforge Gaming because he went off on several different tangents and I just want to talk about them in this video. So we're going to do that right now. First off, we're going to start off with a biggin, which is that he actually got fucking roasted in the tweet's comments at one point earlier this week. That being that he made a singular tweet calling out people like myself who make commentary-style content, or at least it seemed that way. The way that he specified it is that folks are going to force my hand. Hate watching to the point you earn a gifted membership and then posting, sharing, or reacting to members only content is a copyright violation. Members only content does not fall under fair use. I fully support fair use of my public content. Now, number one, this guy clearly understands fair use as well as Mr. Angry Blue Hatman does. If you don't know who that is, that's basically Acer Thorn, who, in this context, tried to sue and failed to sue Mr. SidAlpha, who we'll talk about in a bit because this is an important thing. The thing is that he tried to get people to know, or he tried to do it to where the basic premise is that he used his quote-unquote copywritten content, which is not necessarily a thing, in terms of if you have to pay for it or not. That's never specified in any laws that I can think of across this entire blue marble that we exist on. That all of that falls under copyright and that you can't use it under fair use, even though fair use specifically calls out things such as critique, parody, and transformative content ways. So, for example, if someone were to, say, edit your content in such a way that makes it interesting or weird or, reverses the content or something like that, that technically speaking is fair use, and it is, so long as it is unedited, is the problem. If it's edited to the point where the actual content itself is different from the content that is being presented, and it creates a different point, or it is used for, say, a talking point, then it is considered transformative and under the guise of fair use, and also considered critique under the guise of fair use as well. As Mr. SidAlpha actually does point out that a bunch of the paid-for content that is listed here, which is mainly movies, video games, and TV shows, all of which are actually paid-for content, including things under the subscriptions, and stuff like that, that is reviewed, critiqued, and talked about all throughout the internet, all fall under fair use, and all of them are never enforced by anything else. And what does he know? Well, he's just being sued by someone who got an entire case of fair use completely thrown out because of the fact that he tried to sue for someone in the exact same position, utilizing something similar, i.e. a live stream that wasn't technically meant to be public, but was made public and, paid for by people anyways, which again, the court ruled actually did fall under fair use. He then goes on to say that it is a violation of YouTube's TOS, which I will say this first and foremost. No, it's not. It's only a violation of YouTube's TOS in the sense of it might be considered harassment, but it's actually not because, again, it's considered more critiques so long as the person is making it an entertaining joke and not actually being serious or not actually calling harm to someone. If someone were to actively say that we should burn X's house down or burn Y's house down and not mean it in an unironic or in a jokey type manner, which can sometimes be hard to prove, but more often than not is made of a joke in this context, then yes, then it can be called harassment and or slander in this context. But we move on to the biggest cope of this entire thing, of him saying that he's not trying to shift the goalposts, even though he clearly fucking is. It was my understanding that paid-for content being reacted to violates my copyright as it hurts my ability to sell memberships. No, that only counts if the person is slandering you, and you'd have to prove that in a court of law. In most cases, the person using your content in this context is trying to critique and or, actually not harass you in any sort of demeaning or stupid manner. Some people are, and those people can be prosecuted, but you're going to have a hard time doing that. And that is a requirement for fair use, that it not harm my ability to make money, which more often than not, it doesn't. In a lot of contexts, it doesn't impede your ability to make money. The only way if it would actively impede your ability to make money is if for some reason this person just reposted your entire content unedited for free. If the person uses your content in terms of editing and in terms of critique and tries to use your content to make points about their own debate, if they're doing something along those lines, that falls under fair use and you have no leg to stand on, sir. If the person takes your entire stream, every single second of that stream, or even just about, like, say 30 to 40 minutes of that stream, releases it to the public unedited with no commentary, nothing to talk about in the entirety of the video, just letting it all completely play out under no guides of fair use, is that correct? Because again, you have to edit the video to a significant degree, which more often than not people do anyway. But if they just released your entire clip and things unedited, then that's a violation of copyright, and that's a violation of YouTube's terms of service. And again, YouTube's terms of service and copyright law are kind of the same thing. And yeah, he was apparently also going on a blocking spree, but I decided to just not include that because it just wasn't as important. But I think that I'm going to then stop talking about this because as of right now, this is more of a supplementary video. Or that would be the end of the video if it weren't for me just, finding one more quick little jab at the end of this piece to really kind of send home the actual weirdness of this whole situation. To where he basically says, and someone was responding to him, that he understands that he was going on incomplete information going forward. I see no point in trying to fight it, i.e. he's trying to not fight the people who are actually criticizing him, and understands that what he was talking about actually did fall under fair use. Well, what everyone else is talking about does fall under fair use, and if he thinks that he's going to try to copyright claim all the people that talk about him, yeah, no, you're going to lose. But he also says it's free advertising is the mentality most seem to adopt, which I think he's trying to make fun of in this context, unless it's something like classes sold on Patreon. I could see that being used as a more direct threat. No. Basically, again, to explain to you one final time, Reforge Media, in this context, unless you are completely 100% taking the paid-for content, re-uploading it for free on, say, a torrent website or something like that for no money, well, you could be charging money for it, but you are re-uploading it unedited is the more specific term. You really have a harder case to make. Not an impossible one, as some people might be able to do that, but if you change it significantly enough, which most commentary channels actually do when they cover stuff like this, then guess what? Unfortunately, you don't have a leg to stand on in that context. Anyway, and I've already talked and rambled on enough about all of these things, and I honestly just wanted the easy video to post this Friday because I just came back from a fucking just long-ass, stupid, I'm not really gonna say bender, but this entire weekend has made me very, very fucking tired, and I don't want to deal with any of the videos, so we'll cover those videos in a possibly later part, talking about the whole FTC thing. But as of right now, my name is GamePenguin21. If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you all so much for your patronage and watching behind my stuff. If you want to support what it is that I do, links to everything down in the description: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, things of that nature. I even have a throne now, so you can actually buy me physical gifts. Love me that much. In any case, my name is GamePenguin21. Reforge Gaming. You need to learn a thing or two about copyright law and stuff. And a peace off.